Back again, day number 27 of the bulk. Today is going to be a leg day. So that's going to, if you've seen one before, you pretty much already get the gist of what's going to happen. Throw down on some hamstrings, a lot of seated curls. Maybe I'll throw in some other varieties, right? Sort of help add to your training vocabulary in a sense, right? Like, help you sort of realize you can do some different versions of things. Then move on to squats. Get some pendulum squats going, leg extensions, maybe some Smith machine sissy squats, and that should be it. At the end, quads should be eviscerated. But when this is uploaded, it'll be later on Valentine's Day, right? So if you missed a lift to go do a little fancy dinner with your girlfriend, or even worse, if you missed your lift so that you could go out and try to meet somebody last minute, you are fucked in a progress perspective, right? It's just not it's whatever, but especially if you're already the single bachelor type, or you're in school, you're just adding some complications to the mix. If you're really legit and you want to kind of be focused on something 100%, you can't let anything bother you. You have to chillax on female action, right? So in terms of what's my favorite body part to hit, what's your, you love chest day? Bro, I hate arm day. I hate arms. I've never really been a person to sort of put one lift over another like that. They're all good for different reasons in different ways, right? Arms, love arm day. It's relatively easy in the sense that you're not going to be absolutely destroyed, gassed at the end of it like a leg day. Because on legs, you're getting real out of breath and shit. And then you get a cool ass arm pump. Sweet. Shoulders and chests. Shoulders, pretty much the same deal. Chest, love going heavy on chest, it's fun. Then you get a crazy chest pump. Back, still go pretty hard, but love a back pump. What do you want me to say? I like it all. And then legs, I love a leg pump. And then legs is also fun because it's hard. I'd say out of all of the muscle groups that you're going to train, legs will be the one where a good workout would probably take the most out of you, which would make sense why so many people just end up skipping legs. It's too hard. Plus, you're wearing pants all the time anyway. So that's the logic. Who's going to even see my legs? But if you're a real lifter at your core, you can't neglect any body parts. You gotta find growth. You gotta adapt your growth vector in every possible location. So legs, you gotta get bigger. Back, you gotta get bigger. Chest, shoulders, arms, everything bigger, goddammit. So I'm gonna finish this pre. We're gonna get in there. It's probably gonna be fucking empty. It's 1 a.m. When I finished class today, I just passed out. So I took a real big nap during what should have been my training window. And then I didn't wake up until pretty late. So, should be empty, no distractions. Sounds like a pretty good mix for a abhorrent. Alright, let's turn the exposure down. That's key to, if you're in good lighting,
you may as well just take that exposure down a few clicks. You're not cheating. It's just photography. All right. So, to all the squat haters, what's about to happen? Have my quads disintegrated into nothingness? I doubt it. Yeah. All right. That is not bad. Oh shit. Whew. That's pretty filthy. If you care about the bodybuilding, when you do sort of the side chest like this, you want to try and keep your hamstring relaxed so that it'll sort of smush up against your other leg, and you want to tighten the glutes because it'll kind of pull them in a little. But, you know, who gives a shit? This is all about just the size. Ooh, damn. So hypothetically, if you were to follow that exact leg day, you should get a pretty goddamn gnarly pump as well. Oh, it should be illegal to have that kind of veins on a bulk. Oh, that means I gotta eat some more food. There we go. Now the shorts are at their actual height. So, you know, if you've been watching these, you noticed I'm not really lifting in like cutoffs or stringers or anything. Obviously, when I finish the lift and I come like check out the pump, then I sort of do. But I sort of feel like it's a distraction in a sense, right? You can kind of get caught up in looking at yourself, and I don't know. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. You know, I think the whole point of the pump cover is you lift, you get a pump, and then when you're done, you get to enjoy the rewards afterwards, right? So I'd rather just stay covered up for the workout, just focus on the feeling, on the sets, instead of, you know, every 2 sets walking over to the mirror and like trying to check out some poses or my progress or whatever. Or let's say your pump isn't necessarily as big as yesterday. Let's say today you're a little dehydrated, you didn't drink enough electrolytes, because your pump is primarily water. That's why the whole premise of dry scooping is sort of foolish, at least in the sense that when you dry scoop your pre, you're probably not drinking a shit ton of water afterwards to dilute it. Because once you take in that pre-workout, you know, and it at least the pump ingredients like the arginine and the citrulline, you know, what those are doing is dilating your blood vessels, right? It's opening up your blood vessels, so there's more room for fluids to flow around in your bloodstream. And then when you get a pump, obviously there's going to be more fluid running around, so you'll be able to really fill up. At least, you know, that's a basic lifter description of what's going on. So if you just take your pre, you know, you do your scoop, then you sip some water and you just chug it down, the caffeine will still hit you, and maybe it'll even I'm not necessarily sure if caffeine you would feel it faster or slower if you have it in a more concentrated form. But it's not going to change up how the caffeine affects you, so you'll still feel it, but it's going to be, that's an inferior method of administration, if you will. at least unless you get a good amount of water. But like I was saying, let's say you're dehydrated one day, and then your chest pump's a little smaller than usual, right? If you're really serious about lifting, mid-workout, that sort of thing might mess with your mind, right? Like, you're not going to look the same while you're lifting every time. So I'd rather focus on just covering up, at least for the most part, long sleeve, long-ish sleeve t-shirt, and then just trying to focus on the grind. God damn it. That's one thing I've always sort of felt, ever since all of this fitness stuff got popular. Like, obviously it's been popular. Like, it's been a reasonably mainstream industry. But I'd say over the last maybe 3 years, it totally jumped in popularity for what I would describe as the adolescent to teen youth demographics, right? Now everybody at your school is lifting. Every schmo has their fitness account. And I think they're focusing on the wrong idea, right? If you love all of the zoo culture guys, nothing wrong with watching them. Like, they're probably funny. I don't care. But, if you watch them and all they do is they go around and they stay lean all year round because they're fitness influencers. They want to be able to pose shirtless and be real impressive. Because just being lean on its own, like, you could take a 160-pound dude and put him next to me right now, and if he was diced and, like, a little bit developed, it'd be comparable. Just because, like, being shredded makes you look good as fuck on camera, especially. Now, in real life, it might be a different story, because people look, typically, if somebody's big on camera, they're even bigger in real life. Oh, you get what I'm saying. But, if you're a new lifter and that's who you're watching for inspiration, and you can decide between, starting your bulk, working on your baseline strength, squat, bench. I'm not a big deadlift guy, but deadlift if you want to. Or you could focus on, crash dieting to sub 10% body fat, just so you can take a picture with, some abs. I just think it's a waste of time. Same thing with a lot of these younger, like, teen guys competing, right? You do this whole bodybuilding show, and I'm sure it is very fun. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they didn't enjoy the process. But, I mean, if you want to compete, hypothetically, the whole point is you also want to try and win. So you should spend more time focusing on actually building up a physique rather than just trying to shred down and show off what you've already got. Like, for me, since I'm just sort of focused on kind of long-term growth for now, I'm pretty much at about a reasonable loop of about a 4-month bulk. Not to the extent that, like, I get real soft. Like, if you take a bulk too far, that's probably, it's a little better than not bulking hard enough. For sure, you're going to grow muscle, but then you're going to have to deal with all that extra fat you put on. So ideally, you bulk while maintaining a healthy-ish body fat percentage, like ideally no more than 20 at the peak bulk. And then take about 2 months or so, maybe 3 if you want to. You diet down. Ideally, if you maintain your muscle and you didn't crash diet or whatever, then you should be a little bit heavier at the end of that loop. And then you just repeat it until you get to your desired size. If you look at an Alex Eubanks character or anyone at Zoo Culture, a lot of the younger guys at least, they reach a certain level and then they're done. Once you get a reasonable amount of muscle, upper hundreds, and you're lean and you got abs, and you can like flex your quad and you've got some striations. Like once you're there, you know, you can get a pretty good following just by posting consistently and stuff like that. But if you're actually trying to promote growth and you're working on, like you're going to the gym with the mindset that you want to grow over time and you want to progress, then you can watch those guys, like that's fine. But maybe try not to get all your advice from them, right? Because everything that they do in their lifting videos is either, you know, to show off. Like I'll see a ton of those videos in my recommended where all they do is they max out. Like it'll be a full back day, or it'll be like the title back day, and they go in and they just kind of fuck around a little bit, whatever. But then all they do is they max out their deadlift. You know, how the fuck are you gonna get a big back if you emulate that, right? You can't just go to the gym and do is fucking max out. It's not a session. It's stupid in terms of progression over time. And then if you do watch their workouts and you're learning from them like that, you might get some good ideas about, you know, different exercise choices and stuff like that. But you're not going to see the intensity that you need to actually grow, because the amount of energy it takes to build muscle in the gym, like the amount of effort that you'll be putting in to make progress, is, I'd say, oh my God, in terms of just maintaining your muscle mass, maybe not maintaining your strength, like I could probably stay, you know, at whatever size by hitting the gym like a third as hard as I am right now. And that would just be maintaining, right? And for the most part, these guys, since they're dieting, they're staying lean all the time since they want to show off to the camera. That's what they're doing. When they go to the gym, they're just showing you how to maintain that lean physique. So, you know, take their advice with a grain of salt. You know, I'm not necessarily a firm believer in taking a lot of, or getting a lot of information from people who, you know, preach growth, but they haven't even benched 315, right? Like there's big dogs floating around the whole world and they've got some serious knowledge, even if it's just talking about like intensity or, you know, dieting tricks and stuff like that. I would trust like the 300-pound power lifter guy running around the gym to tell me like his favorite bulking meal, rather than, you know, a 180-pound young LA athlete, right? So sometimes I think you sort of have to back off of people who just have a big following and try to focus on, you know, who would actually be a good source of information. So enough of this little rant, this lecture. I'm gonna go finish some calves, and I may or may not do some more talking in the car. We'll find out.
Oh my God. I'm so fucking ready for bed. So, I was flat out of gas, like 0 mile range. So, it is late as fuck. I thought I was gonna get shot. And I hope you guys are getting a little bit more excited when you're watching these. Or if you're eating a meal right now, scruff down those last few bites. If you're hitting your cardio, you know, don't get off the bike a few minutes early. Get those 30 minutes in, make sure you get a good sweat going. And if you're staying up late watching this video, fuck you, turn the shit off and go to bed. You're not gonna grow if you stay up. So I'll see you next time.